Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a legend run in the Great League Remix Cup featuring a very powerful climbing team with Shadow GOLBAT. These battles were submitted to the channel by a fellow content creator, Nerds Rising, so many thanks for the battle submission. Now the team consists of a Shadow GOLBAT on the lead with double normal types in the back, Vigoroth and Dubwool, and Nerds Rising was able to go on an epic run with the team and managed to hit the legend rank. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out the team in action in the Great League Remix Cup. Hopping into the first match, picking up a very nice lead, Shadow GOLBAT into Cresselia. Most Cresselia not running Future Sight in this format. We see a safe switch into Unova Stunfisk, and that is going to be answered by the Vigoroth. Now, unfortunately, this team not really having a hard check to Ufisk means that Ufisk will probably be able to grab a shield advantage here. We are going to see Vigoroth full sending the bulldoze, opponent lets it through, and that does quite a lot of damage. But the Ufisk will be able to make it to 2 more charge moves here, which means the Ufisk is going to be able to grab shield advantage from the Vigoroth. But keeping switch is quite nice because Cresselia, as I mentioned, typically is going to be running Grass Knot and Moonblast in this format, so their energy is absolutely useless against the GOLBAT. Back in comes Cresselia, Vigoroth trying to make it to the back-to-back body slams, and it gets both charge moves. That is very nice. Vigoroth hanging on with a sliver of HP, and now the Cresselia is very close to half health. In comes the GOLBAT. GOLBAT farming up energy. Cresselia firing off a charge move here. Do they have Future Sight? They do not. That is very, very nice. GOLBAT is a very good core breaker, typically for a lot of teams that are running Cresselia without Future Sight. Shadow Ball is able to get a shield. GOLBAT continuing to farm. If the opponent's staying in, they're probably weak in the back, so we are going to see a shield. GOLBAT farming up, and from this range, I believe even a Poison Fang should KO. Opponent lets it through. They get KO'd. It's a Scrafty in the back, and Shadow GOLBAT proving its worth in the first game, as now this Scrafty is going to have a terrible day. And to add insult to injury, the catch onto Dubwool. Oh my goodness, they go for the foul play. Opponent needs to try and counter down to win, but Dubwool will not let that happen, and that's a good game. Tough lead in the next match, Shadow GOLBAT into Girafarig, and it's a Confusion Girafarig as well, so we see the immediate safe switch into the Dubwool. Opponent ends up giving Dubwool an entire double kick for free, which is quite nice. Dubwool firing off the body slam here. This is enough for the payback. Girafarig commits the shield. Shadow Girafarig is very glassy. Even though this body slam is not going to be enough to KO, it's going to deal so much damage to that Girafarig. Girafarig leaves with the Psychic Fangs loaded, but they're very low on HP. Gonna wait the clock here, sending in the Vigoroth, as Vigoroth, of course, is only gonna take neutral compared to the GOLBAT taking super effective. Vigoroth is able to get the farm down, looking to switch into the GOLBAT, and in comes Cresselia, and the final Pokemon is revealed to be Lickitung. Now with an energy lead and a shield advantage, which GOLBAT has both, this is a playable matchup. GOLBAT just going to go for the Poison Fang as soon as it gets it, just continuing to apply pressure onto the bulky Lickitung. Lickitung already close to the red health here. Shadow GOLBAT putting in so much work in this game. Shadow GOLBAT continuing to farm, going for Poison Fang number 3. This will be lethal. Decision time for the opponent. Do they shield? They do not. They are trusting in Cresselia to win this game. But this is their final Pokemon, and this means that GOLBAT can go for a Poison Fang, and the opponent has no way to reset the debuff for the remainder of the game. Building up to the Shadow Ball, baiting with the Poison Fang here. Opponent calls the bait, but that call is not going to be able to win them the game, as now the Body Slam from Vigoroth, while not KOing, is going to deal a lot more damage. Vigoroth has quite a lot of energy here, going for the Body Slam. This Body Slam is going to be putting Cresselia deep into the red, continuing to farm with the Vigoroth. Vigoroth firing off the Body Slam. Body Slam will grab the final shield. Cresselia cannot farm down. They're going to have to throw. Now the question is, can Cresselia make it to another charge move? Grass Knot KOs the Vigoroth. It's going to be a race, and GOLBAT gets the farm down. We see a bit of an interesting lead in the next match, Shadow GOLBAT into Quagsire. Now Quagsire, of course, does have access to Stone Edge, which would hit for massive super effective damage, But the nice thing is Quagsire has very little fast move pressure in this matchup. Shadow Ball will grab an early shield from the opponent on the CMP tie to the Stone Edge. They shield, opponent full sends a Stone Edge, and now we see a save switch into Dubwool, and Dubwool will be answered by Mandibuzz. So a pretty neutral matchup across the board here. Dubwool, of course, will be able to outpace, but Mandibuzz has the edge when it comes to bulk. Dubwool spamming out Body Slam after Body Slam in this matchup. Mandibuzz below half health, but Mandibuzz will be able to return fire here, going for the foul play, and now we see both Pokemon starting to show a lot of HP being taken away. We're seeing the Body Slam fired by the Dubwool. Dubwool is going to get the Mandibuzz quite low, and Dubwool wins CMP over the Mandibuzz. That is incredibly clutch, as Body Slam will KO, denying Mandibuzz's energy. Back in comes the Quagsire. Quagsire farming up, but they are not going to be able to make it to the charge move. We see the Body Slam fired by the Dubwool. Quagsire finally going to fire off the charge move here. That Quag took a lot of damage from that Body Slam. In comes Vigoroth. Vigoroth will be able to absorb the Mud Bomb. A non-Shadow Mud Bomb, definitely not as scary as going up against the Shadow Quagsire, and in the back, it's a Charizard. Charizard, a very powerful Pokemon in the Great League Remix Cup, but very glassy in the Great League. Golbat farming up, losing the CMP tie to the Blast Burn here. Golbat shields, it's the Blast Burn, and now that they full sent the Blast Burn, opponent will not be able to make another one. Poison Fang is going to KO. They know they have to trust in the Quagsire, but the Quagsire is running out of HP, and to add insult to injury, Poison Fang comes through, KOs the Quag, and that's game over. Dream lead in the next match, Shadow Golbat into Scrafty. Opponent is going to save switch into Shadow Nidoqueen, and again we are seeing Shadow Golbat being a very good core breaker in this meta. Shadow Ball into the Nidoqueen. Goodbye, Nidoqueen. Opponent sends in their own Golbat, and we see an immediate pivot into the Dubwool. I like this decision, saving his own Golbat to be able to handle that Scrafty later in the game. Dubwool at the back-to-back Body Slams, looking to put some pressure onto the Golbat. Golbat lets the first move through. They're firing off another Poison Fang, but Dubwool will be able to tank this. Dubwool able to hang on with a sliver of HP and fire off the last second Body Slam here. This should be grabbing a shield from the opponent, as they need to keep the Golbat alive if they want any hope of getting rid of the Scrafty. Golbat is going to fire off another Poison Fang, but Vigoroth can tank this no problem, and the switch clock is up. So when Scrafty comes in, you already know Scrafty will be met with the Shadow Golbat. Body Slam connects. In comes the Shadow Golbat, and these wing attacks are tearing through the Scrafty. Golbat commits the shield. Scrafty full sends the foul play here, and this should just be game over. That Shadow Golbat has way too much energy. Poison Fang KOs. Opponent can send back in their own Golbat, but they are running out of HP here. Poison Fang does so much damage, and the opponent gets farmed down. We've got a battle of YouTubers in the next match, Nerds Rising versus Human Catcherbug. Great lead for the Golbat. Human Catcherbug save switches into Lickitung, and Golbat is going to stay in here and go for the Poison Fang. Poison Fang gets some chip, in comes Dubwool, and honestly, I really like this play, as this is going to set up Dubwool to leave this matchup with a ton of energy and threaten a payback onto the Cresselia. Lickitung makes it to Body Slam number 2, but Dubwool is not worried whatsoever. That Body Slam can connect. Dubwool looking to massively overfarm, just shy of 100 energy, and go for the Body Slam. Body Slam KOs the Lickitung, and Cresselia is going to have a terrible day when it's brought back in. Dubwool goes for the payback. Big damage onto that Cresselia. Dubwool continuing to farm. Cresselia forced to throw, or it would be KO'd by a second payback. Grass Knot will be lethal. In comes the Golbat, and it's a Diggersby in the back. Oh no! Opponent's remaining Pokemon are core broken by the Golbat. Poison Fang connects, and now that they're debuffed, Vigoroth's counters are just gonna shred through the Diggersby. Diggersby baits with the Fire Punch, and the no shield there is absolutely brutal. Firing off the Body Slam. Body Slam will get the Diggersby low, and from here, honestly, you could probably just win the game with the Golbat, but going to expend at least one shield on the Earthquake, and the opponent concedes the match. Picking up a very tough lead in the next match, Shadow Golbat into Shadow A-Slash. Dubwool save switch into the A-Slash will be answered with Cresselia, and this is not a good counter switch from the opponent. It looks like their team is very weak to Dubwool, and Dubwool is ready to take advantage, landing that payback, and now Double is in prime position to make a play for switch. Moonblast will be shielded up. Double continuing to farm. Cress makes another charge move. Double will be able to no shield here. Double has so much loaded energy, now going for the body slam. After landing the payback, this is getting closer and closer to body slam range. Opponent is going to let that through, not quite enough to KO, so Double is going to fire off another body slam. Opponent is going to give up switch. They send in the Alolan Sand Slash, getting torn to shreds by the double kicks, and they're forced to fire off the drill run to get the KO. But now in comes Vigoroth. In the back, it's Quagsire, and Quagsire up a shield is quite scary. The good news is this is not a Shadow Quag, so that way, fortunately, I believe a Stone Edge may actually be survivable here. We see the no shield, it's the Stone Edge, and Golbat hangs on. What a call there. Understanding Golbat would be able to tank the non-Shadow Stone Edge. Shadow Ball gets the Quagsire low, and the opponent concedes a match. Hopping into the next match, we see an amazing lead. Shadow Golbat into Buzzwole. Opponent save switches into Lickitung, and at this point, we know the plan. Go for the Poison Fang with the Golbat, and that way you can guarantee that switch advantage will be secured. In comes the Dubwool farming up, and Lickitung will be able to fire off multiple body slams here, but that is totally fine. Lickitung has absolutely no fast move pressure into the Dubwool whatsoever, so Dubwool can really take its time, overfarm massively, and leave with a ton of energy to threaten the Buzzwole. Going for the body slam here with the debuff on the Lickitung. Body slam, I believe, should be enough to KO, and now if they send in the Buzzwole, Buzzwole is going to be hit with 2 more body slams. Opponent sends in the Buzzwole. Dubwool already at the back-to-back charge moves. Body slam is going to be no shielded by the Buzzwole. Buzzwole will be able to tank both body slams, but it's going to leave very low on HP. Buzzwole is going to tank it. We see the snipe by the Shadow Golbat. It's done sparse in the back, and it's just not going to matter. Opponent only has 1 Pokemon left, and again, here's where the debuff power of the Golbat is just absolutely incredible. Getting that Poison Fang debuff, opponent is now never able to undo that debuff for the rest of the match. In comes the Vigoroth, and the opponent concedes the match. Moving into the next match, picking up a fairly okay lead, Shadow Golbat into Kofagrigus. They will both get to the Shadow Ball at the same time, going for the Poison Fang bait, but the opponent makes a nice catch, catching that onto Steelix, where it just does absolutely nothing. Golbat gonna stay in here, farm up, but unfortunately the Steelix got a Dragon Tail through when they caught. They make the Psychic Fangs, and now the Golbat has to go down a shield. That is quite unfortunate. In comes the Dubwool. Dubwool will be hit with a Psychic Fangs from the Shadow Steelix. Dubwool continuing to farm, making it to the Payback. Payback, of course, will hit for some heavy damage onto the debuff Steelix, and that will KO. In comes the Kofagrigus. Kofagrigus will be able to fire off the Dark Pulse here, and Dark Pulse, after that Psychic Fangs debuff, will be lethal. Back in comes the Shadow Golbat, full sending the Shadow Ball, hoping the opponent calls the bait, but they do not. That is not good. Opponent, very nice counting. Firing off the Dark Pulse here into the Golbat. Just gonna let it go. Trusting in the Vigoroth, but this is asking a lot of Vigoroth. Vigoroth basically needs it to be something extremely weak to counter in the back to have a chance to win this game. Bulldoze is going to be no shielded by the opponent. They're firing off the Dark Pulse, choosing to save the shield. What is that final Pokemon? It's Linoone! Oh my goodness, the spice from the opponent, but it comes back to bite them as Linoone is going to have a terrible time going up against Vigoroth. Vigoroth is going to no shield here. Body Slam is going to get them low, but Vigoroth gets the farm down. Can it farm down Kofagrigus as well? And on 1 HP, Vigoroth gets the win. Hopping into the final match, and we see a tough lead. Shadow Golbat into Shadow Alolan Sandslash. The save switch into the Dubwool will be answered by a Golbat from the opponent. Now, Golbat is quite behind on energy here, so let's see what Dubwool can do. Dubwool continuing to farm, and so does the Golbat. Golbat has a massive amount of energy here, but of course, Golbat is only going to be able to go for Poison Fangs. They make it to Poison Fang number 2. We see the shield from the Dubwool. Dubwool gonna do what it can to try and make a play for switch advantage. Firing off the Body Slam into the Golbat. Golbat is going to let that through. Dubwool makes another Body Slam. This will be grabbing the shield if the opponent wants to keep switch, and they do. Continuing to farm and double, taking advantage of the energy lead, making one more body slam, getting the shield from that Golbat. Now the question is, will that double kick that snuck through KO double shields? It does, and with switch advantage, that should spell really good things for the endgame, as Vigoroth is here to absolutely shred the A-Slash. A-Slash is going to fire off the Drill Run. That does solid damage in the back. It's a B-Drill, and oh my goodness, this looks like it's going to be legend. B-Drill absolutely walled by flyers. Even for being walled, that resisted Drill Run does a lot of damage, but no shields remaining for the B-Drill. Shadow Ball will KO. All that's left is that Sand Slash. Sand Slash looking for the farm down, but Shadow Golbat will not be denied, making it to the Shadow Ball, taking out the Sand Slash, and securing the Legend rank. And I believe we do get to see the rewards claimed as well, claiming the set, getting a tiny Wobbuffet, you love to see it, and reaching Legend rank at 3008 Elo. All in all, these were some fantastic battles, and this should be a very effective climbing team if you're looking to rank up or potentially even make a push for Legend during the Great League Remix Cup, and a special thanks to Nerds Rising for submitting these battles. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.